Hi there and welcome to my channel, A Country Life. Today it is April... Oh, okay, thank you. Today it is April 9th. That is a Thursday. And really weird weather today. Right now, you guys can maybe see outside, it's actually like bright sun, and then all of a sudden it'll cloud up and it'll start snowing and it'll just be blowing and whipping all around, and then like that'll happen for 5 minutes and then sunshine again. So really, really weird day. Not a day that I really want to spend a whole lot of time outside. And Emily came over. There she is. Hello.
Hi.
And so what we're going to be doing is we're just going to do a bunch of baking here today. It's actually getting close to lunch, so I do have to warm up some stuff for from like last night's supper and yesterday's lunch, get that going. But what I want to do first is start making harvest loaf. So Emily actually is going to work on making harvest loaf. I think I have that recipe on my channel someplace, so I will link to that, or it'll be in the description box below. I'm also going to make cranberry bread, and that is just a standard around our house too. And after that, I have some new recipes that I want to try. So last night I pulled out my Pioneer Woman Come and Get It cookbook, because in there is where I get the recipe for those little mini egg muffins that I love to make. And I made a batch of those last night. And then as I was just kind of watching a little news and stuff like that, I think actually Millionaire was on, so we were watching that. Just wait, Maria. Shh, shh. And then while I was watching Millionaire, I just started paging through the cookbook and I found a number of recipes that I would like to try. Of course, they are all baked goods because that's what always looks good to me. And so we may get to some of those recipes. And those recipes would be the granola bars that are on page 6 in the cookbook, muffins that are on page 25, but I was going to substitute dried cranberries for the raisins. And then another muffin recipe that is on page 30 in the cookbook, and that I was also going to substitute cranberries for the blueberries. So we have a lot cut out for us here to get done today. And on top of that, none of that includes chocolate really. Well, I guess the harvest loaf does, but I know that my family likes chocolate. So maybe some brownies might happen as well. And then this would be nice because I can send some of this stuff home with Emily, and yeah, it'll just be good. So that's what we're going to be working on here today. Okay, to get started, Emily sets up a workstation at the island here. She gets going on the harvest loaf and mixing up all the dry ingredients, which basically includes things like flour, homemade pumpkin pie spice, and a little bit of salt. She takes a little break here though to put on an apron. She's like, you know what, this belly needs to be covered. So her due date is coming up here quickly in June. We're all very, very excited about that for them. Here, she's gonna just sprinkle in a little bit of salt. She's doubling she's doubling this recipe because it calls for about 3/4 cup of pumpkin. And I don't know about you, but I don't like to have leftover pumpkin that I have to store away. So 1 whole can of pumpkin would make a double batch. Meanwhile, Maria here, you can see she's bouncing back and forth between Emily and me. Basically, I think she's trying to follow the camera. But I'm getting started on the cranberry bread, and so I have to just zest up 1 orange. And then we kind of, you know, move out of each other's way as we're trying to get things. Right here, you're going to measure 2 tablespoons into here, okay?
2 of these?
Yeah, because that's a tablespoon.
Why do you have to have orange peels?
Because that's what goes into cranberry bread.
Mom, can you hold this?
I am. Maria, she really wants to help out with juicing the orange, and as you can see, a lot of my kitchen stuff is really starting to go. I have to use a sour cream container with my orange juicer just because I think the bottom ended up breaking years ago. That's all right, still gets the job done. If you do find yourself lacking really nice kitchen things, you know what? That's all right. You can still make things happen in the kitchen. Meanwhile, the guys are out working on raking the yard, and so far it doesn't look too bad. Bouncing back to Emily, she's adding in the pumpkin. Looks like she already added in the eggs and the butter into the mixture. Bouncing back again to Maria. We're just going back and forth here. This is kind of how it was going that day. Maria's adding in the dry ingredients for the cranberry bread. I have to grind up some nuts for both Emily and myself. We all need nuts for our recipes. And again, my nut grinder broke years ago, and I just have not ever replaced the bottom of it. Now that the harvest loaf is ready to go into the oven, Emily sprays up these little pans. I got these years and years ago for 10 cents a loaf pan, I believe at Michael's, and they have come in handy so many times. I use them for just lots and lots of bread baking, especially when I want to make loaves to take to give away as gifts. Let's come over here and take a peek at what's going on. This is the harvest loaf. Really, what harvest loaf is a pumpkin chocolate chip spice bread. And like I said, I will either put the recipe in the description box below, or is it yummy? Or I will link to it if I did another video, which I do believe that I've done that a couple Christmases ago. This was just a staple bread in my household growing up. My mom and I would make, oh gosh, over 20 loaves of this in this size pan like this. Actually, those are her pans. And we would give this to Sunday school teachers and my teachers and aunts and uncles and just everybody. We're doing some little loaf pans and some big loaf pans just so that I can have different size breads for home and for giving away. And then Maria has been helping me with the cranberry bread. And again, I will either put the recipe in the description box below, or I will link to another video where I have the recipe in the description box. And I still have to get the cranberries in here, so I'm going to put 2 more cups of cranberries in. And yeah, this is really, really good. And even if you're not one that likes orange flavor with your cranberry, because I've mentioned this before, but Warren does not like orange and cranberry together, and he tells me that all the time. Oh, don't make anything with orange and cranberry. And then I always have to remind him that the cranberry bread that I make has orange zest and orange juice in it. And he, I don't know, it's like he knows it, but he won't believe me at the same time. So anyway, just getting my cranberries out of the freezer. And I'm not going to slice my cranberries or dice them or anything. I just put them in whole because we like to get that nice bite of tartness. Yes, yes. Okay, so Emily's going to put these in. The oven's at 350 degrees, and then obviously the little ones will have to watch. Those will have to go in for a lot less time. The big one I think is going to have to go in for about a full hour. And it is now noon. Sam just came in from work. That means that everybody else is not far behind, so we need to get some lunch going here too. So I've got some leftover soup.
It says 65
not too much.
minutes.
Why don't you set the little ones maybe 35 or 40 minutes?
I'll do 35.
Okay.
What are you making?
It's just about 1:30 now. Lunch is all done. We just kind of ate up all of the little bits of leftovers and an entire bag of potato chips. So the first loaves are out. These are the harvest loaf, or the loaves of harvest loaf. And it just smells like Christmas in here, let me say. With the weather today, with the on and off weird snow, it almost kind of feels wintry. Okay, so the cranberry bread is in the oven right now, and I have a ton of laundry that I have to make happen here today. So Emily's gonna get started on this next recipe. Right there, she's gonna do the orange blueberry muffin tops. And we're actually decided, since it only makes 12, we're gonna do a double batch. So she's gonna make one batch that's gonna be orange blueberry, and another batch that is going to be the cranberry. And we're just gonna do it exactly the same way. Just one put blueberries in and one put cranberries. Maria is happily playing Candy Crush. Not happily. Are you losing?
I tried every way, but nothing works on these green things.
Well, these are a basket of shoes that got turned. But yeah, there is the pile of laundry that I have to work on. And I do have a load of darks I didn't get done yesterday. And that was just a half load of towels yesterday, and now here we go. It is a full load. So I'm going to get this sorted up, at least get one load started here, and then I will get back to baking. When you have multiple loads of laundry to do, what is your deciding factor on what you end up doing first? It always used to be, before we had a water conditioner, I'd always do my light load first, because after I'd run my water for too long, the water would start to get like some iron buildup in it. So I always did my whites or my light colors first. And I know, you know, back in the day of wringer washers, people would always wash kind of like the least dirty clothes first, because they kind of keep reusing that water. But I just kind of always wonder, like, what is the deciding factor when all 3 loads are totally full? Today I'm actually going to go with the dark load because it's way more than full. So I'm going to try to actually knock that one down so it's not quite so full for tomorrow. Look at what it's looking like outside now. It's just crazy, crazy weather. Hi, Joe. You come to decide you want to cook too?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tie your apron on, okay?
Okay. Chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, you think we should make some chocolate chip cookies?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see if we can make that happen.
Just do it.
Okay, so for the muffin tops, Emily is just lining this with parchment paper. What, honey?
Where's bowl?
Oh, you're looking for the bowl?
Yeah.
It's in the dishwasher, but don't open it because it's running. We'll make cookies in a different bowl, okay? You just hold on. And what she did is she just made all the batter in one bowl, divided it out here. So this is the blueberries, and then this is the cranberries. Oh yeah, she mixed the cranberries in here already. So the idea behind these muffin tops is that instead of making muffins, you know, like you normally would in a muffin pan, and then you have the bottoms. Yes, Joe, we see that's the parchment paper. You just scoop the muffin batter right on here. Maybe
I need like a smaller.
Yeah, like a
that little
spoon
one?
or something.
Yeah,
Maybe a spoon. Because what we're trying to do here is to just make like a ball, because I don't think we want to flatten it out at all. We just kind of want it to be, yep, that looks really good.
And now
it looks
we
like
should be able to put all 12.
it looks like she only did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6,
7, maybe 8 to a pan. What does it say?
2, 4, 6.
Bake until the muffin tops are lightly browned. It doesn't say how many, but I would say if it makes 12, we better divide it out.
Put 6 on a pan.
I think so. Just
I don't know. These might spread really far.
I know.
Come move.
So I'm finally going to get to making these Chipmunk cookies. These are the chocolate chip ones. And this company, I've already talked about them in another video, actually probably 2 videos by now, because they sent me different products, and I've just had time in, like, now this is the 3rd video where I've had time to do something with what they sent me. So this here is going to be chocolate chip cookies. I've got Joe here. He's helping me. He's listening to some music, it looks like. So he's going to help me. All you have to do is add in a half a stick of butter, 1 egg, and a teaspoon of vanilla, and then the mix. And this is a low-carb, keto, no added sugar mix. Okay, let's pour it in. Egg cookies. We're going to make chocolate chip cookies, aren't we? So let's take a look at the batter. It has lots of little mini chocolate chips in it. The chocolate chips do say that they're also keto and vegan, so I'm sure they're made out of special ingredients. Keep stirring, bud. Okay, let's see. Let me stir too, because we got to get that butter stirred in, don't we? Okay, the dough for this looks really, really good. It looks just like you would expect chocolate chip cookie dough to look. It does use a different type of sugar, which is allulose, and it does use, you know, like different types of flour that are like low-carb flours. So I'd have to look here at this. It uses almond flour. And so if you have ever made cookies with almond flour, you do know that if you bite into it expecting it to taste exactly the way a typical chocolate chip cookie would taste, you are going to be disappointed. But if you think about it as meeting a certain dietary need, then it's a good thing. So, okay, let's get these on the pan here. It's going to be a little bit, Joe, because we're still working through the muffin tops. So these are the blueberry ones over here, and then we have the cranberry that are going to get started. 48 seconds and we get to check out the first ones.
Sweet.
All right, they're done. Oh,
Big.
Oh my gosh, I put in
look at those.
the baking soda. Yeah.
That's so funny. They're like enormous.
Oh my
Of
gosh.
course.
Okay, so we let these muffin tops cool for a little bit. They are enormous. I mean, there's my hand. And then Emily's going to pour over some of this glaze. So this is the juice from both oranges, since we doubled the recipe. And then this is actually more than 2 cups of powdered sugar. It said a cup of powdered sugar with the juice of the orange, but it seems really liquidy to me. Let's look outside at what's going down out there.
Oh my God.
Look at that. They're just standing there freezing.
Oh, poor guys.
They're all amazing.
Yeah. We came in.
All of a sudden we saw people coming this way. I'm like, oh, I think they must have liked it.
It was good, and I need some water. And it's cold and snowing out.
Yeah, it is crazy out there. Okay, so we did try one of these and we sent one out to the guys. They were out raking in the snow. And Peter came back in saying they're amazing. So Emily's going to put some more. You want to put that on here? There's a cranberry one here too.
If I'm a
So
cranberry
she's-
one, because maybe if it didn't.
Yeah, so what we've been doing is just putting the glaze in the middle and then just kind of letting it naturally drip to the edges because it's really a runny glaze.
Can I take one?
Yeah, whatever you want. These are going to be the cooler ones. This one's a little warm because I transferred it over.
But these are cool.
Strawberry would be delicious too. And then there's a cranberry one
I wanna
here.
try that one.
Yeah, we'll break it apart. I'd try a bite of cranberry too. Well, it's a really good thing that I have Emily here today because I think she's done pretty much all of the baking. It feels like it anyways, but I've been doing plenty of dishes here too. So,
Yeah.
okay, so the next thing on the list is going to be another new recipe. This is still from this Pioneer Woman, Come and Get It, I think is the name of this cookbook. Yes, Come and Get It. And this is her granola bar recipe on page 5. And then it really starts on page 6 here. So we're going to make that. Typically, I have about 3 granola bar recipes that I tend to kind of alternate between. And this one is just very different. Most of mine always seem to call for peanut butter, which this one does not. But this calls for apple juice and honey and molasses. So this should be really interesting. I'm looking forward to trying this one. It's also a baked granola bar recipe. So yeah, really looking forward to this. Maria came in, and so I think she's going to be helping Emily with that. We actually found some some apple juice, so that's good. We're in the middle of making the granola bars now, and there's actually a lot of steps. I didn't review that first. So you have to toast up the oats, and so we have those cooling right now, and then you put together like this dry mixture of wheat germ and Rice Krispies and pecans and almonds. Is that everything that's in here? Yeah, 4 things are in here. And then you put together a, this is kind of like the good stuff, the slurry here that holds it all together. And this, do you remember what we put in there, sweetie?
Honey.
What was the brown stuff?
Brown sugar. And
molasses.
Molasses.
And what kind of juice?
Apple juice.
And apple juice, yes. So we put all of that together, and we're basically just heating it up until
the darkness is from the molasses.
Right, and we're just heating it up until the brown sugar dissolves, and then we're going to add all of this together and spread it onto a pan. And this is going to be the last thing that we bake today, I think.
That's a good idea.
We were not anticipating that. I don't know. I didn't think this was going to take us this long.
Either. Like, I thought it would be like 2 o'clock. I don't know.
I know, and it's already 5 to 4, and I need to get started on some supper. Soon it will be time to make some supper, and it's going to be really, really easy. I'm just going to take some frozen meatballs. I picked them up from Aldi this last time. They're the Italian version. Last time I got the home style, and I don't know, my family was kind of like, they didn't really care for those so much. But I got the Italian ones this time, and I'm going to put that in the crock pot with some spaghetti sauce. I'll probably soup it up a little bit with a little extra basil, a little extra oregano, a little extra garlic. I might throw in an onion, and just kind of soup it up a little bit and let it heat up until it's time to eat. And that's going to be it, because I think that we have spent plenty of time in the kitchen today. We've done a lot of talking though, so it's not like we're just cooking. I did want to give you guys a peek at the granola bars. This is, again, like I said, from the Pioneer Woman Cookbook. These are really, really good. No peanut butter, no chocolate chips, no M&Ms, no fruit, just good old granola. And they are actually good. The molasses in there gives it a really, really good flavor. And here is what happens. So when you take them out, they're still pretty soft. But then, look, as it firms up, or as it cools, it becomes like a big slab. And then you can just cut it into squares or bars, whatever you like. And this is really good. I like this, and Warren liked it. Emily liked it. Maria said she didn't like it so well. So, I don't know. Maybe it's the nuts in there. Yes,
I tried
Peter.
a bite of it, and I like the chocolate chip ones you make better.
You like the chocolate chip ones better? Are you waiting for meatballs?
No.
Did you hear me?
No.
We're having meatballs.
No.
Yes, we are.
No.
This is, no, I don't want you talking like that. This is one of Joe's favorite meals, meatballs. He loves them so much, but now he's pretending he doesn't. And we're gonna have some corn. I just have some frozen corn that I'm microwaving, and we'll have some milk. You wanna put the milk on the table, Joe? Thank you. I've got Peter over there setting the table. We've got the news on. And that's gonna be it.